No power. That means no light. Trains don't work. Neither do traffic signals. Neither does the internet. You can't get cash from the ATM, nor water from the sink. Food spoils without cooling. All of this is possible after a cyber attack on critical infrastructure. The US has just issued a warning saying that a Russian strike on critical infrastructure is likely to happen. What the? A cyber attack backed by the Russian government? What would that mean for you and me? How likely is it? And how well protected is your country's infrastructure? Modern wars are not just fought on the ground, but online as well. Take Ukraine, for example. Cyber attacks on Ukraine's government and military sector rose by an astounding 196% in the first 3 days of the war. How dangerous are cyber attacks for us?
Russia has a track record of conducting some really disruptive and even destructive cyber attacks. So we've seen this really impact normal people. They've wiped out systems really across the world. They've interfered with safety systems in critical infrastructure and, the energy sector. We've also seen them even cause power outages in Ukraine in the past.
If the attack isn't carried out remotely by a hacker, pretty much all it takes is this one USB drive. With malware, of course. In the US, the number of cyber threats designed for removable devices doubled in 2021 compared to the year before.
Russia is likely, with all the sanctions, with all the Western resolve, going to be increasingly interested in going after the likes of the US in these more destructive ways. But what I would say is that this isn't just a US problem. This is also going to impact Europe. A lot of Western governments within the continent have been really active, a huge amount of resolve that we've seen there, and Russia's going to want to retaliate to that.
US President Biden has reportedly been presented with options for, quote, massive cyber attacks against Russia. According to NBC, the US is prepared to disrupt internet connectivity across Russia and to shut off electric power. They could even tamper with railroad switches, so that Russia would have a hard time resupplying its forces. Is a cyber attack with real-world destructive effects comparable to a missile attack? Is it an act of war? What do you think? The past has shown what international cyber warfare can look like. Remember Stuxnet, a malicious computer worm first uncovered in 2010. It is believed to be a cyber weapon built by the US and Israel targeting Iran's nuclear program. Stuxnet infected over 200,000 computers and caused 1,000 machines to degrade. What if this sort of weapon is used again? In general, cyber attacks conducted by all kinds of perpetrators are getting more frequent, according to the US-based Center for Strategic and International Studies. The main targets of cyber attacks are energy, transportation, public services, telecommunications, and critical manufacturing sectors. No need to panic over a potential strike, but it's always good to be prepared for one. Not well at all, if you ask the experts at CloudSec, a digital risk assessment company from Singapore. The state of global critical infrastructure security is abysmal, CloudSec wrote in October 2021. For example, in India, the logins to access the government's CCTV weren't sufficiently protected. Attackers could have exploited that weakness to surveil their targets in real time. The main reason for vulnerabilities is that security systems are often outdated.
It might be local or regional providers. It's those that are often the most vulnerable because they're not able to invest in security in the same way as large-scale providers. They will often still have, some basic security flaws there. They might not have fully updated their systems. There might be some misconfigurations. These are typically more well-known ways to exploit systems.
What can be done against cyber strikes? The US has reportedly been giving classified briefings to hundreds of companies last week. Government and companies need to up their game for that new kind of warfare. What do you think? Should your government prioritize protection against cyber attacks? Are you afraid of an attack? We'd like to hear from you. See you again next time. Bye-bye.